when I moved out at 16 years old, and I just kind of felt like I was responsible for myself now. No one can tell me what to do, as a 16-year-old. So I think to me, I was the only one in my family. I have 3 other siblings. I was the only one that had moved out. And so I was the only one that was able to kind of break that glass ceiling or that generational curse for my family.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Lean Podcast, Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network. I'm your host, Mahogany, and this is Season 2. Let's start with a short prayer. God, I pray this season speaks to every heart listening. May these stories ignite purpose, restore hope, and remind each woman that she is never alone. Amen. Hello, y'all. What's up? Welcome back to Season 2 of the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network podcast. Today we have with us Miss Sabrina. She is based out of
Arizona now,
and she has a very interesting story that she's going to share with us today about how her upbringing was and the steps she made to break some generational curses and start a different cycle for her family and her future. So help me welcome Sabrina.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This is our first in-person interview, so we're real excited about that. Who knows where this is going to go? So improv, what do they call it? Improv. So we're here, and we're just really excited to get to know you a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? Where do you come from? Things like that from the very beginning.
Yeah, so my name is Sabrina, and I grew up in Canada. So I was born and raised in Canada. My parents immigrated to Canada, so I'm first generation. I grew up, I guess, with parents that didn't really have a lot of financial education. So things like overspending beyond your paycheck was kind of very normal. My parents never had good credit. Credit cards, my parents never had credit cards because they couldn't get credit cards, like getting loans. It was just poor financial literacy. So throughout my whole entire childhood, like living 6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, it made me give me a representation of what I didn't want my life to be. And so it was so easy for me to be like, I'm going to do the complete opposite. And so the complete opposite was financial education, do well in school, try to learn, I actually became obsessed with learning how wealthy people did stuff. So I've studied wealthy people for probably 15 years of my life, read probably every single book, took people out for coffee. I moved out of my house at 16 years old because I knew that I needed to get away from the habits and learn from people that were wealthy, because I that's what I wanted. And I was told that a lot of the problems that we had in our family was because of money. So as a kid,
I was going to ask you, as a kid, so growing up with this being your family's circumstances, did you see the differences? Like, hey, we're poor, or hey, this is our situation and my friends aren't living like this. Did you have any indicators, or were you just like a happy child? Like, you're just like, hey, this is what it is. This is what we have. Or what was that like for you as a child experience?
Well, I think our family, my parents kind of made it seem like we're fine, but it was very obvious that we were not fine. And I knew that with my family dynamic, I was told that money was going to solve a lot of our problems. So as a kid, I was just like, okay, I could fix my family with becoming rich and wealthy. And so that's literally was my life mission. Since I was a teenager, I was just like, I recognize money is going to solve all of our fights at home. It's going to solve all of the issues, like all the, not having electricity for a couple weeks, because we spent a little bit too much on groceries. It was just, that was going to be the solution. So that created my obsession with understanding wealth, wanting to be a wealthy person. And that was my kind of life mission over the last decade.
Wow. I love how you took that upbringing story and like how you came up to say, hey, I'm not doing this. Because oftentimes when we go through traumatic stuff as kids, it's like we either take this route and go exactly down the same path as our parents, or go the complete opposite. So I love how you were like, no, we're not doing that.
Nope.
So when it came to studying the wealthy people, like, where did you find these people, or who gave you the advice to like, hey, check out this book, or like, this is a person you should look into? How did you go about that search?
Yeah, I think, being a teenager, like I said, I moved out at 16 years old. So I was starting to see patterns of people that were wealthy within my environment. And I was like, okay, well, they're doing things so differently. And I kind of like would pick up nuggets, like informational nuggets from my classmates that, seem to not have financial issues. And that kind of led me into going to networking events where I would meet people that were in the financial industry or in the real estate industry, and like they seem to be driving nice cars, or they seem to not have financial issues. And so like I would ask them a ton of questions, get nuggets, and it was like this kind of like scavenger hunt until I was able to find the books where everybody's, Rich Dad Poor Dad seems to be a repeated, advice for people, for books to read. And I was just picking up nuggets. The more people I met, the more I was able to like kind of felt like it was like a scavenger hunt. So it was honestly about putting myself out there, meeting as many people as possible, trying to find the truth of how wealth is made, because obviously, the way that our parents tell us, go to school, study hard, become a doctor and lawyer, I mean, that just doesn't work nowadays. And so trying to expose myself and find the truth of like how wealth is truly made, through meeting people and getting nuggets was life changing.
Wow, I love that so much. So out of like all the books you read, is Rich Dad Poor Dad your staple, or do you have another book that really catapulted you forward?
I don't think it was a book. I think for me, the documentary that really catapulted me forward was The Secret.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
That was so powerful. Like for me, I think I watched it when I was 18 years old, and it made me realize that like if you focus on what you want and the law of assumption, like to kind of trick your brain into thinking that you already have the things that you want, so you start accidentally operating in the frequency or operating in a manner that would get you to that thing. That changed my life a lot. So I think for me, it wasn't a book, it was actually the documentary, The Secret.
Yes.
That was so powerful. I watch it every time I'm in a slump, and I see something so different. That was so powerful.
I have to check that one out. I definitely have read the book a couple times.
The book is nowhere near the documentary. I tried reading the book. I couldn't read it. It was like, it felt like a transcript of a movie.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna check that out, y'all. The Secret. Make sure you check it out because this girl here is killing it. So I would highly recommend that. So with you taking a different direction than your parents' path, what did your family think about that? Sometimes there could be those, crabs in the bucket that are trying to pull you back, or like, what was your experience like when it came to your family and you making that change?
I think for me, if I lived at home, I would have been easily swayed back into a lot of the poor mindset, poor habits. But I think when I moved out at 16 years old, and I just kind of felt like I was responsible for myself now. No one can tell me what to do, as a 16-year-old. So I think to me, I was the only one in my family. I have 3 other siblings. I was the only one that had moved out. And so I was the only one that was able to kind of break that glass ceiling or that generational curse for my family. And I just watched all my other siblings that hadn't moved out until they were, financially independent, and how their trajectory was so different. So I think your environment, that is just proof that your environment, we grew up in the same circumstance. So like, why did our trajectory become so different? And it just is a testament to how your environment shapes, kind of your success or what your results end up being. So when I moved out and I was searching for truth, I was searching for how wealth and, what a good life truly is. And when I had followed that path, I was able to create that for myself and my family. And now they're trucking along, following along. But yeah, your environment.
Man, I love that. That's some good stuff. The environment is everything. Like, I also moved away from my family at a pretty young age, at 18.
Wow,
and never went back, left states. So when you left at 16, did you come to the States, or did you stay in Canada, or what did that look like as a 16-year-old navigating the world on her own?
Yeah, I pretty much ended up going to university pretty early. Or college, I guess in America you guys call it. Sorry, I grew up in Canada, we call it university. So I ended up going pretty early. So I moved out, did a 4-year degree, and then in Canada, and then and I lived on campus, so I moved away from family, and then I ended up moving to Vancouver, and then I started my Sorry, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So the question was basically like, how did a 16-year-old girl navigate the world on her own? That's a young age to leave home. So you went to university for 4 years in Canada, and you're highly ambitious from the start to be able to graduate at 16, or is that the norm there?
No, it's not the
Okay.
norm. The first year, probably the first 2 years I failed because I was partying, had a boyfriend, and I was just like living my best life. I wasn't taking life seriously. So to be honest with you, the first 2 years, like going to school early, in terms of navigating, I kind of got the party out of my system.
Yeah.
But I think I was trying to stay focused on what the true goal was for me, and I was like, my true goal was money is going to solve my family problems. And so that was what kept me going. That's what literally I woke up every single morning like remembering like all the pain that my parents would go through. Like I saw them work really, really hard, but like, my mom was busing 2 hours to be a lunchroom supervisor for freaking 2 hours in the snow and watched her go back. Like, I'm like,
Wow.
I don't know how much she made truly, but like that to me was like painful to see. And so I truly felt like I can do something about it. And so I was so driven, and it's because of trauma is what made me so driven. It's not inspiration, which most people are like, you have to be inspired to be like driven. It's like, no, trauma is what drove me.
Trauma will do it. Trauma will do it. You'll go this way or this way with it. You got a choice. What are you going to do with your trauma?
Exactly.
Wow. So what did you get your degree in? Because I know that now you're into real estate. So what did you actually study in school, and what did you do with that degree?
Yeah, so I did it kind of like a dual program where it was like tech and business, and then I ended up working at Microsoft in Seattle. That's how I moved from Canada to the U.S. For about 10 years, I ended up working as an AI engineer. So I thought I made it. And so, yeah, that's what I ended up studying is business and tech. Yeah.
Okay. And so now are you still in AI or business and tech in any way? Tell us what you're doing now.
So I'm doing full-time real estate. So it's been 2.5 years. I haven't worked for a tech company, and I'm doing that full-time. But I've been investing in real estate for about 6 years.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about your portfolio. What do you invest in and things like that?
Yeah. So I first started investing in real estate in a house hacking fashion. So I bought a duplex first, and then I rented out a bedroom. I was living in the smallest bedroom that was like the size of a closet, and then rented out all the bedrooms. I was able to live for free and make $2,000 a month. This was 6 years ago when the rates were like 3%.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. I did that again next year. I couldn't understand how people were able to scale because all I was doing was house hacking. So when I had learned about the BRRRR method, which is buy, renovate, refinance, repeat, missing one, rent, refinance, right? Okay, anyways, there's 4 R's. When I had learned, yeah, look it up. She'll put it on the screen.
Yeah,
it's right here. So once I had learned about the BRRRR method and how you're able to recycle your startup capital over and over again, that's when I was like, wow, I shifted from house hacking to BRRRR, but then I wanted more margins, and then learning from Thatch, learning the ADU strategy and how the margins were so big, and then got into development. So now I'm basically turning one house into 5 or one house into 4 through building homes. So I build ADUs and I build single family homes. So basically small multifamily projects is kind of what I do right now. And my portfolio consists of 20 doors, $15 million worth of real estate. And yeah.
That's so amazing, y'all. Let's clap it up for my girl, because what? So I know a lot of people feel like they cannot do something like what you've done when they don't have a partner. Do you have a partner, or how have you navigated this on your own?
Funny enough, I kind of have the opposite problem where I've been doing things alone by myself this entire time, and I'm hitting a roadblock where I don't have enough human capacity to do more projects. I feel like I've unlocked and understood financing enough that it kind of feels like unlimited money. It kind of sounds weird, but I've learned to raise money and use OPM, other people's money. So for me now, finances are not the issue. It's human capacity. I don't feel like I have the ability to do more than a certain number of projects. So when I have done real estate on my own and I've never partnered, I have just this year have started being like, I think I need a partner because I want to scale like this, and I don't think I can do that alone. The mindset that I had before is, if I partner with somebody, I have to give a piece of the pie to somebody else. But the mindset that I have now is, if I have partner with somebody, the pie gets bigger. So I'm now open to partnership. And I've partnered on one project now, and I plan to partner on with more projects. So kind of my partnership journey is kind of the opposite. It's not, a lot of people believe that they have to partner with somebody because they don't have the confidence to do it on their own. But I kind of feel like I have the opposite kind of experience.
I love that. That's different.
It's very
That's
different.
also in the way, I know like a lot of you women who watch the show may be single. You're single, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she's single. Man, if you're watching those.
No.
Stay out her inbox.
Yeah.
No, but I know a lot of my single ladies feel like they can't get started because they don't have a partner. And also single ladies who have started, and now, like you kind of said, now they feel like, man, I need a partner, but they're so dominant. Like, I don't need you. Like, what are you bringing to the table when it comes to romance, partnerships, not so much business only.
Yeah.
So have you seen any of that when it comes to like dating life, or have you even like explored dating where it's like, what are you bringing to the table? Because I'm bringing so much to the table. What is that like for you?
So you're asking for me, like when I'm,
when you're dating, how complicated is it to find a match when it comes to you being so ambitious and already having so much?
Yeah, that's a hard question, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm at the stage where I actually don't know what I want, and I've changed so much over the last 2 years, where I had a certain type, and I've kind of gone through this consciousness journey where now I'm kind of confused about what I want. Okay. So, but I do understand where your question comes from. It's like, I'm ambitious. It's like, you know, a lot of men are like providers, but like I can provide for myself, more independent. And it's like, I think for me, there's a lot of qualities and values that I value. And so as long as those are kind of aligned, then I think there's, you know, that could be a match. But I do recognize, I think also I'm also a different person with like a partner, because, you know, I'm able to step aside and like not be super dominant, because I don't want to be that with a partner. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if someone can bring that side out of me, I think that's where I feel more attracted to that person.
I love that, y'all. I threw that in there for y'all, okay? Because this is a very ambitious woman, and I know a lot of times finding a partner can be difficult. Like, I hear it all the time. So that was extra.
Little bonus. Little spice.
Tell us a little bit about how you're helping others in the real estate space.
Yeah, so I think the way that I kind of look at, so I coach in real estate, and I mainly attract a lot of women, because a lot of women are just like, it's so cool to see you on a job site. Whenever I see you on a job site, I picture myself as a woman. And it's, you know, we're always told that real estate's kind of like a boys club. And so kind of being that person that can represent, you know, the female side of things is so freaking cool. So for me, the way that I kind of look at myself as a coach is, a lot of coaches are teaching in front of a classroom, right? Broadly to a ton of people. I'm kind of like that tutor in the back of the classroom with like 4 or 5 students that's like holding their hands through the entire process. And I kind of teach in the way that I want to be taught, which is like, just tell me the steps, tell me what to do and make it apply to me. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I do, is I teach people how, especially women, how to get into development and create that generational wealth for themselves and their family and children, so that they can create that safety and the things that really matter to them. So I teach women how to get into development.
Y'all hit my girl up. I know a lot of y'all be in my DMs asking me like what we do. This is who you need to talk to, okay? Because she's the tutor in the back holding your hand.
Yes.
Like, I love that so much. So one last final question. What would be one piece of advice for anyone who came from rags and they haven't yet gotten to the riches, but they're in that phase of trying to get there? Any advice? It could be related to anything you'd like. What's your advice?
I think for me, who you surround yourself with is so freaking important. And the reason why I say this is, you gave me an example of how you moved out at 18 years old and you surrounded yourself with certain types of people that really shaped your future. Yeah. I moved out at 16, and if I stayed at home at 16 and lived a couple more years there, I would probably not be financially free. I would not be a millionaire. I would not be able to inspire others, teach others, and kind of create generational wealth and, break generational curses. So to me, if you want to start working out, I know that you've done a lot of workout classes and stuff like that, right? So joining a community where, is surrounded by people that are doing the thing that you want. So for me, surround yourself with the type of people that you want to become, because you are the sum of the type of people that you are around. So, if you're hanging out with like the joke is, if you're hanging out with 4 stupid people, you'll be the 5th. If you're hanging out with, 4 gym bros, you'll be the 5th, right? Yeah. So it's like, who do you want to identify with, and find that community that has those people, surround yourself with those people, because their norms, they'll kind of brainwash you, and then you'll accidentally become that person. So to me, your environment, who you surround with yourself with, is so, so powerful.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I get to be in this lady's beautiful community.
You're so sweet.
Because we're Springboard to Wealth Sisters. So you guys, Sabrina, I appreciate you hopping on so random with me. I appreciate you sharing these gems and your story. It's so important and so impactful. It's going to change lives. I already know it is.
Thank you so much.
Until next time.